Right Honorable Alban Bagwin has also directed the table office to officially indicate that the question for the approval of the adoption of the Finance Committee's report on the E-Levy during last Tuesday's proceedings was put after the minority staged a walkout.
Transfer Levy Bill 2021 accordingly read a second time. Just in between the 7 and 8, that's where our walkout needs to be recorded. But that was the stage at which we staged our walkout, and it has to be captured appropriately.
Actually, it should come before question put and motion agreed to. Because the walkout happened before I put the question and the motion agreed to. That is the appropriate position for it. So table office kindly correct the records accordingly. Majority Deputy Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, just a little clarification. My respected colleague, the Minority Chief Whip, indicated that they walked out at a certain time. And you clarified the position by saying that the walkout was actually announced before the vote, the question was put. That is correct. What I just wanted to put on record was that although the announcement was made by the Minority Leader on the walkout, however, at the time they were proceeding out. Yeah, Mr. Speaker, that's and Mr. Speaker, we don't need to split heads on this matter. Mr. Speaker, we don't need to split heads on this matter. If since they are at the Supreme Court and they say they will take the audio visuals and the videos and everything, when they get there, the Supreme Court will watch.
Yes.
Your whatever. I won't fight you over this. But I am saying that at the time the question was put, some of you were still in the chamber walking out. You were moving out. You were carrying your books. You were packing. But I'm not contesting. It doesn't change the issue. It does not. The question, the issue is that at the time you announced the walkout, the question had not been put. And Mr. Speaker is right. However, your walking out was not instantaneous. It took time. So eventually when the question was put, some of you were still in the chamber.
Many of them.
If you are challenging me, the video will speak for me. Mr. Speaker, that is all.
Is the essence of this submission. You are a leader. You heard me expatiate on these issues. As to when you talk about attendance. So why are you raising this? I actually put the question after the walkout. That is different from attendance to Parliament. They walked out. I am clear in my mind what I do in this house. And I can defend myself anywhere, even in the International Court of Justice. The fact that they walked out did not erase the fact that they were present in Parliament. Just the same way, when you walked out and we came here and continued, the issue of quorum was raised by this side, and that is quorum to conduct business, which needed 92. And that's why I made them count to make sure I've got 92, and we got more than that, 137. And so that press conference that you held and said we did not form a quorum was said in error of the law. The same thing that you are trying to, don't repeat it. Be guided by this. It's not Supreme Court ruling. That is the ruling of the Speaker.
Let's analyze the situation. I've been joined by political science lecturer at the KNUST, Dr. Kwesi Boateng. I'm grateful for your time, Doc. I'm sure you've been monitoring happenings in Parliament this week, from the walkout by the minority to the passage of the E-Levy, the confusion about whether the minority walked out before the question was posed, and the accusation of partisanship by the clerk in Parliament. By the clerks in Parliament. How does all of this come across to you?
Okay, let me say thank you for the opportunity, and good morning to your listeners. Actually, there are significant developments currently and also generally in our democratic development, because it comes to one thing, an understanding of how our system should work, and if you like, the decision by those who have issues to also use the established channels to try to address any challenge that comes out. So, generally speaking, to me, as a student of political science, it's normal politics that is unfolding. Generally, it's normal politics that is unfolding. And the crucial thing is the fact that when we disagree, we know how to go about, finding solutions to the disagreement, and generally things proceed. But then specifically, relative to the E-Levy, that's quite, it's generated a lot of furore, and the recent development very dramatic. And interestingly, I just heard, what the speaker ruling relative to the walkout and stuff like that is. And it's interesting to note that even the members of parliament themselves, they have been there for a long time. They all have different views, different understanding of, what should be the situation when they walk out. Does it mean that those remaining in the chamber of the hall constitute the quorum and stuff like that? So it's a learning process, generally speaking, and then we keep correcting ourselves as we proceed. But then we also see state unique interest in the E-Levy thing. And interestingly, people felt that some of the elements in the policy could be revised. That didn't happen. Maybe there was a slight reduction, from the initial percentage to the current one, 1.50 and stuff like that. But the key issue in the E-Levy is the repetitive nature, the tendency to tax the same amount of money twice or three times. These elements remain. So that is it. What we have now on our hands. It's been passed. The government has assented to it. So I'd like to believe that they're putting in place the relevant instruments to, let it simply begin to work.
Dr. Amache, of course, the speaker had indicated that he himself was taken by surprise with the E-Levy coming before him on Tuesday. The minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, also indicated same. With all that has happened, and with the minority even seeking refuge at the Supreme Court, we've all been asking for consensus building since Ghana's parliament became a hung parliament. What does all of this mean for consensus building going forward?
It really brings to the fore a key feature of our politics. Politics, conflict, cooperation, conflict, accommodation, conflict, consensus, and so on and so forth. You go to some jurisdictions, the parliament would have solved this out themselves. When they disagree, they have a practice, a culture of sitting down to come out of the disagreement and try to, meet one another halfway. You find this in the Scandinavia. Occasionally, you find it in Japan. And stuff like that. Here in Ghana and generally in sub-Saharan Africa, our our political culture is overly conflictual. Looks like the political divide is interpreted in ways that show that on an issue of this nature, if you sort of try to accommodate your opponent, it becomes, something indicating weakness or something. I just can't get it. But when you engage in society, you're going out to touch society. And for once, you have a good number of people in society coming out, to raise concerns. Then definitely, the person who put the policy forward, has a charge to really look at, the concerns being raised. It is not an issue that people don't want to pay tax. People believe that there's a need to rework some of the elements in it, to take out this repetitive thing. So if we don't do it, then we are saying that, look, we're sticking to our original position, we're not changing it, and this is the way we move it. So what happens is we don't come near consensus. Over here, one was looking for some sort of accommodation, some sort of compromise. Consensus is a far higher IQ that, given the way we go about our politics, we are nowhere near at all. But then the interesting thing is that the political institutions that should have given birth to the one we're running now, our own indigenous political institutions, was grounded in consensus. It did not have this majoritarian system where, you raise hands and at the end of the day, the majority wins. No. They took their time, deliberated over issues, review it, and then at the end of the day came to consensus. We are the same people, the offspring of, our forebears. Yet we've lost all those values, and in a way, it looks like what is captured in the list is that this phenomenon of imported institutions. So it looks like we've gone in for something that, one would say has not been with us all the time. So the issue of consensus, we should forget about it. We are nowhere near.
So we are going to be seeing more of this confusion in Parliament, you think?
No, you look at the challenge of the challenge thrown to us Ghanaians by the current Parliament, which in a way is pushing the two parties in Parliament to do business differently from what they've done over the years, where they had the majority and so pushed anything at all through. We should now have to be mindful of what our colleagues in Parliament say. Their opposing views, if taken in good faith, and we try to also review what we are putting forward. I think at the end of the day, it will be an issue of two minds coming together to produce something better than what would have been the case from just one mind. So we say that two heads, are good, they are better and stuff like that. We are not taking advantage of the current situation that we have in Parliament. So definitely, the conflict, that revolves around political competitions are now going to play out in the Parliament. We shouldn't forget that the fights that we saw are all manifestations of that conflict. A little escalation in the normal conflict that we see. So yes, we'll be seeing several of them on contentious policies that come out.
Dr. Boateng, also this week, the president has been assuring the citizenry of better times ahead. Now, while the minority say the state of the nation was not a true reflection of the state of the nation, the majority is optimistic that, the assurances are exactly what we needed as Ghanaians to actually be at peace that our economy will get back on its feet. But already there's been challenges with, for instance, the road claims. There have been people who are unhappy that the president did not even speak much about corruption. What picture does this paint for governance?
We're running away from the reality, actually. And there are no better times ahead. There are no better times ahead. Some economists, notable economists in Ghana have come out to say that whoever formed the government after 2024 is going to really face great difficulties, given the heavy loans we have taken, because we will be repaying, the loans. And as it is, Ghana's capacity to generate wealth, Ghana's extractive capacity has not been developed. So going forward, there shall not be better times, actually. And it's unfortunate because Ghanaians have had to go through this almost all the lifetime from the birth of Ghana, 1957 to date. Times have been tough throughout. And it's very unfortunate because if you really come to appreciate the huge amount of loans taken by the current government and what we see in today, basically food. We don't have control over, our staple food. We import so much of them, in spite of how many years of a particular, special policy, implemented and touted and implemented. So you don't see exactly what is happening. You just don't see. We are making some progress with road construction, and it is good. That has come to the fore of our politics. The road politics is good because at the end of the day, it is giving us some sort of accountability. If you say that you've constructed this, number of kilometers of this thing, and it is not the case, it is not the case. Roads, you can't hide it. If it is the case, it is the case. And then it exposes you. If you have done it, definitely you get the applause. If you haven't done it and you claim that you have done it, you are exposed. Because people will really, after that one, society is able to, make a judgment. So generally, the road politics is good for Ghana. It's going to bring pressure to bear on whoever, people in government today and tomorrow, not to at least take Ghanaians for granted as far as, those aspects of our development is concerned. We have a major problem, with accountability. And this relates to corruption thing. It's very unfortunate because with Nanado, who was so bold with "I am not corrupt" when he was out of government, and today he can't talk about, the fact that his government has not seen corruption, and he keeps quiet over it. That speaks volumes on its own. That speaks volumes. But then generally, it's good that we are in a democracy when citizens have the option to reject a government like it is in the literature that you vote the rascals out. People have the options to reject, the government when they get the opportunity. And definitely, politicians we know are afraid of the next election. So people will wait patiently, to take the decision they want to take with respect to who will form the next government. And whoever comes into office in future definitely will know that times have changed. Ghanaians are not the same people that they have been working with all the time. So generally, at the end of the day, I think that our politics is beginning to take on some developmental qualities because you can't just promise and get away with it.
He's a political science lecturer, a senior lecturer at the KNUST.